Hey now. Hey now. We're back. I think we took a week off, but we're here with another Uneeda horror podcast. Busy day today, right, Nick?
Oh yeah. Yes. It's my son's birthday. Yep.
How old is he?
He is 2.
Oh
The
my
party's at
God.
5. So busy evening coming up. It's been a busy morning too. So
Did we hire a Michael Myers guy to show up for the party for him?
no. I messed with my wife and said we were gonna hire a clown. And she said she'd divorce me because she's scared of clowns. So we didn't get a clown either. But yeah, I'm about to have a house full of people and a lot of gift wrapping to throw away. So, pretty good.
Well, I hope it's a good day and happy birthday to the little man. That's cool. 2, that's got to be. Is 2 do you think going to be the wildest age for the kid?
It depends, man. You hear that from a lot of people, and then you also hear that 3 is worse. So
Mm,
I don't know. I mean, he's definitely a handful now. So we'll see. I'll let you know in a year.
yeah.
But yeah. Right now he's pretty crazy. So
Uh,
yeah, it was good we took a week off too because obviously, as you know, I came down with the flu, so that was just fantastic. I'm still kind of congested by that, but yeah,
mm.
ready to get back into the swing of things here.
Yeah, man, I needed to process this episode. First of all, I'm glad you're feeling better. I mean, the flu was not fun. It's funny the day you told me I think I texted you one morning. I was jogging. I was like, "Hey, man, I saw you said you had the flu," and you were like, "Dude, it's going around." The crazy thing was the previous 2 days before, my wife called in sick to work, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But I don't think she had the flu. I don't know what she had. She gets sick a lot. She's like a damn cocker spaniel. She's sick like once a month, But luckily she didn't have the flu, thank God. But dude, I have no time for the flu right now. I cannot get sick. I have way too much stuff to do.
That's how I felt, and my wife had it, my son had it, and I was like, "Stay away from me, stay away from me," and it didn't even matter. I woke up 2 days later with a fever, and I was like, "Son of a bitch."
Oh
So
my god.
you know,
I just real quick. I noticed we both were rocking. I've got my Halloween 2 mug, and you've got the Scarface edition,
yes.
DVD edition.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it.
This
All
is
right, man.
Starbucks mocha blend from the Keurig.
This is Dunkin' Donuts from the Keurig.
We have that too because that's Brooke's favorite. So, but I chose
Mm,
I chose the Starbucks.
can't go wrong.
No.
All right, Nick. This episode, if for those of you that are watching this, if you did not watch the last episode, which was Paranormal Activity versus Saw, I just want to say how much of a happy accident this idea was. I think I floated it around to you a couple times, and it's taken off. I mean, this is what the people want. They want these franchise face off, and it's so awesome. But if you didn't catch last episode, please pause this video now and go back and watch Paranormal Activity versus Saw so you can hear me lose my mind when this idea was brought up. And I was like, holy crap, these are two juggernaut franchises. Alien versus the Terminator. I mean, Nick, I needed 2 weeks to process this. I really
Yeah.
did. I mean, where are you at with this right now?
So this is going to be a hard one. It's definitely going to be a hard one. I'm not going to lie about that. But I will say I'm not a huge fan of Salvation or Genesis. I think Genesis is better than Salvation. Um, so those two movies I've probably only seen maybe twice a piece. So my memory's fuzzy on what happens in the movie, but overall, I do remember how I feel about those movies. I just rewatched Dark Fate a few days ago because I hadn't seen Dark Fate yet, and that was because I remember when the trailer came out and people were just destroying the CGI, and I was like, "Oh God, is this going to be another one of those?" So I didn't catch it. I went around and watched it. I think it was Paramount Plus where I watched it on, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I really was. But I and the Alien franchise as a whole is one that I feel like there are far more hits than misses, and I can't wait to get to the back half of the Alien franchise because I feel like those two movies get hate that I do not feel is warranted. So yeah, overall, this should be exciting. This is going to be controversial for sure.
Yeah, you spelled it out pretty good, man. This is one thing I want to add, and if I want to make sure we start doing this because if we do more of these, I want to add at the end of this, you're gonna pick the best movie out of all of them, and then the absolute worst movie out of all of them. But we're gonna save
Oh,
that till the very end because.
okay.
And I figured, what the hell? When I thought about this morning, I was like, what can we do to top this off? Because I like to have a closer, and I thought, oh crap, picking the best one out of these two will be nuts. Um, so dude, let's get into it. 1979's Alien, which is a freaking horror film for
Oh,
all
yes,
you.
it is.
I'm gonna quote Nick for all you jackasses out there. I mean, what the hell? Okay, really quick. Some broad on Twitter, some actress, she made a post like, "Question: Is Alien a horror movie?" And of course, the normal, sane, logical people on Twitter were like, "What kind of question is that?" Yeah, of course it is. I mean, and she did a poll, and it was like, Nick, it was like 99 to like 1. Yes. And so she makes a rebuttal to her tweet and says, it can't be horror if it's in space.
Oh my God.
What? I was telling my wife this. I'm like, dude, what is going on here? Like,
If
what
anything,
is
it's the
happening?
opposite. Space is a frontier that is literally desolate, where you're alone. There's no hope. There's no one that can save you. So when something happens in space, you're screwed. Who you call? You
Right,
gonna call the cops? Like, no, you're screwed now.
dude. I can't deal with these people. I can't do it anymore. I mean, do they make me lose my mind?
I know.
Um, okay. Anyway, I don't want to get off too much of a tangent.
Yeah.
1979's Ridley Scott, written by Dan O'Bannon, which we talked about that on the Return of the Living Dead podcast, which is Dan is an extremely talented writer. Against, was it in 84? Terminator was 84, right? I think it was 84. If
I
I'm
think.
wrong,
Yeah. 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 No, it's 84.
okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm very sorry. Against the Terminator, Jim Cameron's The Terminator. Um, two amazing films. And Nick, I'll start this one, and
Go
then
for it.
you'll next round you'll go first, and then we'll flip back and forth.
Okay.
These are two amazing films. One side note I want to get to: Terminator. Is it a slasher film?
You know how I feel about it. I saw when we mentioned this on the Paranormal Activity and Saw, there were people in the live chat that were like, "This is not a slasher movie. Like that's ridiculous." I'll just say this. I'll pretty much echo what you said. You could put this into like 5 subgenres, and I would agree with you. I wouldn't give you much argument.
Right.
And I think that slasher is one of those because there are definitely slasher elements. So is I mean, if you said it was or you said it isn't, cool, that's fine, whatever. But I definitely think there are slasher elements to it. Yes.
Yeah. And again, I'm not one of those people that needs to define the movie so much as I enjoy the conversation about it. And that's how I feel. Like if somebody, I think another thing I said was if somebody was like, it's a slasher film, I'd be like, okay, cool, yeah, it is.
You know.
But if somebody just as harshly was like, it's not a slasher film, I'd be like, okay, cool, you know. But it's the debate is cool. I love seeing the way people, dude, the definition of slasher film is different for people. It really is, and you'll see
Yeah.
people have a very strict definition. It's got to be a maniacal killer hunting people in a location, et cetera, or it's got to be this location matters, location doesn't matter, et cetera. It's wild. I just like to sit on the sidelines when all this stuff happens, and I enjoy seeing what people say. But anyway, for God's sakes, I'm nuts today. I am gonna say that the clear winner for me on this is Ridley Scott's Alien. I mean, it's Alien, for God's sakes. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I mean, what are we doing here? It's Alien, for God's sake. So I got to go with Alien.
So here's how I put this. Before I say which one, it's very interesting because I feel like we as fans, if T2 didn't exist, say the Terminator was the only Terminator film, and you were comparing the two, I think it would be harder. It would be a harder decision. But the fact that T2 does exist, your mind immediately goes to, yeah, the Terminator's good, but T2, man, T2, it did everything that movie did and then better. But even then, even with saying that, I think it's Alien as well. Alien is like, I remember the first time I saw Alien, and I was aware it was right around when AVP came out. And God, that was 06, 05,
Yeah, somewhere
04.
around there.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. So I was, 11, 12. and I saw Alien, and I was expecting, okay, this is going to be, a bombastic, like action, crazy movie. I was like, this is not that at all. It was actually scary, like the first time I saw it.
Very
And
suspenseful.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like it's Alien just because I feel like it broke new ground in the sense of like that. And it's not the first horror movie in space, but I feel like it's the most recognizable. I feel like it's the most influential and impactful. Um, and dude, the face hugger alone, like, the chest bursters alone, like that is so memorable to me. Like, I I don't know. I have to go Alien. I mean, I could talk about it all day about why I feel like Alien is better, and it's not to knock on the Terminator because the Terminator's badass. But we're spoiled with T2, and I think Alien just did more for its time, personally. So
Can
Alien.
you believe that Alien was like made in the 70s? Because when you watch the movie, like I have like this like I call it remastered. It's that really nice box set of 1 through 4. And I was watching Alien the other day, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like this movie looks amazing. It's insane. And you're right. It is not the first space horror film by any stretch, but dude, I do think it gets the credit of actually making space like have normal working class people in space. They talked like regular folks, and that was amazing. I mean, I that movie, and dude, even the effects like at the end of Alien when you see the xenomorph hanging on to the aircraft. I mean, dude, even blown up, cleaned up the image, it still looks so good. It's amazing how guys like Scott and for instance Stanley Kubrick can make movies like 2001, and it's just like, dude, they look better than movies coming out today. What the It's like, is this movie magic? Was it the stars aligning? Like, I don't know what the hell it was, but it's like, dude, sometimes these movies literally do not age whatsoever. And Alien is probably one of the best examples of that. 1979. Look at the shit that came out like that year. Some of it looks so bad, so crappy. This is, I don't know. It's amazing to me. And Sigourney Weaver, man. I mean, she
Oh
is
yeah,
one badass chick. I mean, she is she is awesome. I mean, I don't know what else to say about Sigourney. I mean, she killed it in that movie.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree. That's one of those movies that ages so well that you look at the date that it was released and you're like, no, that was not 79. Like, you're full of it. Like, I hate to, draw back to this, but just because of the time period, look at Halloween, for example. I love 78's Halloween, but it did not age as well as Alien. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
no way. No
Yeah,
way.
exactly. And that's actually a really good example because Halloween, even though everything that the film does gives its, I mean, actually, I'd like to quote John Carpenter: "Stop figuring out why Halloween works so well, because if you do, maybe you'll figure out it's not, and it'll go away." Which I disagree to a certain point. Like, Halloween's not going anywhere, but I understand what John meant. But you can clearly tell it's 1978 in the film. But in Alien, dude, this is what I was talking about. Even the bad space movies like Jason X, for instance, which it ages well because like it's a space movie. Like, you don't there is no relatability for time and space. Space looked the same in
Yes.
1881, the way it looked in 1991, the way it's going to look in it's space. So,
Yeah.
those movies, man.
You can't date yourself in space. Like, you really can't date a movie that's supposed to take place hundreds of years in the future and set in space. How do you date it? You can't.
You can't.
So, yeah, no, I agree.
But dude, just to really quick, because I don't want to just like trample over the Terminator. I do love the Terminator a lot. It's not my favorite in the franchise, but uh, this movie, Terminator's great. I mean, I'm trying to think what I need to say about it, but I don't want to just like sound like a broken record. All the stuff that people say about the Terminator is great. The soundtrack is great. I sometimes overanalyze the whole John Connor situation because the way the kid is born is Kyle Reese going back into time, banging,
Yeah.
Sarah Connor. like I when I really start to process it and break it down, I almost get like a really bad headache. Like, wait a minute, so like we got to go back in time so he can bang her to have the kid, so he can become the leader of the resistance. But like, I don't know, dude. When I start to think about it, I get Back to the Future 2 vibes where Doc Brown's like, we got to go back here because the
Yes.
timeline parallels here, and then we got to
That's
do this.
exactly what I was thinking too, was Back to the Future Part 2.
Somebody call Doc Brown on this shit, man.
Yeah.
But I'm not a person that I'm not a person that purposely tries to overanalyze stuff. I just enjoy the content of the film. And Terminator is great, badass. Schwarzenegger was literally nobody else could have done that. I mean, he born for the role,
Yeah.
born for it. And one quick thing I want to add: I was listening to Schwarzenegger on Howard Stern. Maybe it was last year, and he talked about working with Jim Cameron on this movie. And the Terminator, Schwarzenegger and him got into a fight early on in the process where he told Cameron the line needs to be "I will be back," because if he's a Terminator and he's prim and proper, I don't think he would use what do you call those, Nick? Suffixes or whatever
Yeah.
it's called. Where he goes, I
Mhm.
don't think he would talk like that. I think he would talk grammatically prim and proper. And Jim was like, the line is "I'll be back," and he's like, yeah, but I think. And then he said, like, Jim was like, listen to me. I wrote the goddamn movie. You're gonna do exactly what the FI say. Do I make myself clear? And this is what Schwarzenegger said. And he was like, fine, fine. And of course, look, Jim Cameron was completely right. I'll be
Yes.
back. Is that's his. It was in every movie. All right, for God's
Yep.
sakes.
And now you're Christian's handing me I have to take the lead on the hardest one.
Well, do you want to set? Do you want to set this up for the people and describe
Yeah.
two movies?
All right.
This is gonna be
So
fucking crazy, dude.
T2, arguably one of the greatest sci-fi action films ever made. Ever made. I don't think you'll get many people that argue that. Took everything the Terminator did and did it better. And then you've got Aliens, which it's Alien on steroids in the sense that it's no longer horror so much, but it's insane. It's action packed. It's thrilling. It's like Sigourney Weaver is amazing. Bill Paxton is amazing. Like
The cast is amazing in
it's
Aliens.
it's Aliens. Yeah. Like I mean, what more do you say about Aliens? So then you okay. So
And both of these movies are Jim Cameron movies, by the way.
yes,
That's what's even crazier. The whole
yes.
parallel of all this.
He's oh man. So here's how I parse it out when I look at it. It's like my favorite Alien movie is Aliens. I think I can say that confidently. I think it's Aliens. Although I feel like Alien is a little bit more memorable, I do think I enjoy Aliens the most. Um, with the Terminator franchise, it's not even hard. I don't even have to think for a second. It's T2. Like it's absolutely T2. That entire climax and finale in T2, I used to watch that over and over. Like not even watch the whole movie when I was a kid. I would just watch that final fight because I just thought it was so cool. And for the time, the effects just are awesome. I mean, I think they're awesome. And again, Schwarzenegger is a badass in every sense of the word. I mean, this movie, especially this movie, is one of the big reasons we look at Schwarzenegger now in his late 70s and we go, dude, this guy's such a badass. Like, it's because of that damn movie. That
Yeah.
movie is what sticks in your mind. I feel like this is going to be blasphemous no matter what way I go, but I have to go T2. I have to go T2 and for everything T2 does right, it's especially the finale. I love that entire fight. I love it. I love every bit of that. And while Aliens has some, again, like I said, great actors, great one-liners, I feel like Sigourney Weaver really comes into her own in this movie, especially. Um, it's T2. It's T2 for me.
Mm. I thought long and hard about this because I would probably it's weird, man. It's like I think Alien is my favorite of the franchise, but Aliens is the most accessible for me to want to watch all the time. It's so damn good. Uh, Cameron has this knack of I don't know. He just he knows how to blend genres or he did very well. I don't know about Jim now. I'm not a big Avatar fan,
Me
but
neither. And don't worry, we're getting like 4 more of those movies, so that's
yeah,
cool.
well, they can have them.
Yeah.
But man, Aliens is so remarkable. Another film that you watch it today. I watched Aliens last night again because I was like, I just wanted. My wife was like, I was telling her about the episode, and I was asking Sydney. I was like, Sydney, what would you pick between T2 and Aliens? And she started to say, I don't know, aliens for God's sake. And I was
Mhm.
like, but what about T2? She's like, I don't know. She couldn't answer. I said, well, get back to me. And she still never. She's like, I can't pick. I really can't because to me, to her, those are the two best. When the way I'm going to answer this is, there's only one of these movies that will bring a tear to my eye by the end of it,
Yep.
and that's the Terminator 2. That movie, for so many reasons, is to me. I have no problem saying that Terminator 2 is not only the best in the franchise, but I think it's probably one of the best movies ever made. Ever made. If I had to make a best movies ever made, I think Terminator 2 is probably in my top 10 easily, maybe even
You
top
know,
5.
that's a really good video idea. I've done horror movies. I've never done a top 10 movies of all time, of any genre, because now that you mention it, yeah, I'd be hard pressed to not think that Alien or T2 would be in that list. That's hard, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Terminator 2, that movie draws so much emotion out of me every time. The character of John Connor, played by Edward Furlong, I still relate
Yes.
to that kid, even though I'm, 30 now. I still relate so much to that kid. Uh, the story is so amazing. Everything about the Terminator 2, it's like on this whole. It's truly to me one of the greatest films ever made, pound for pound. Everything that movie does, it's got one of the greatest villains ever with the
Oh yeah.
T-1000.
Yes.
Just
And
the whole.
and stop trying. You cannot improve upon the T1000. I don't care in all these sequels what they try to do. You cannot improve upon the T1000.
Yeah,
I would just always say that you can't.
it's yeah, it's just a great villain. The liquid metal thing. He's such
That's what I'm
he's
talking about when I think about that fight. It's just like you think so many times that the dude's done for, and it's just oh my god,
he keeps coming back, and
yes.
you know, God, dude, that movie. I get goosebumps thinking about T2. Everything
this
about it.
this movie is going to be like there are not a lot of actors, there's not a lot of filmmakers that are really going to hit me when they pass, and this movie is probably one of the biggest reasons that I will be like messed up when Arnold passes. This and
They'll
Predator.
there'll never be another Arnold. I mean,
No.
the guy was born. He brought his success to his life completely. He decided, I'm going to be the biggest action star ever.
Yep. And I don't
He
care what you say. You guys can throw in Stallone. Stallone's fantastic. You can throw in Bruce Willis, whoever you want to throw in there. I'm telling you, yeah, it's
well,
Schwarzenegger.
and I'll tell you this, man. I am a Stallone mark. I could quote everything Stallone's done chapter verse. He's my favorite action star. But the reason Schwarzenegger is the best is because he could cross over.
Yep.
Stallone couldn't cross over like Stallone tried to do funny stuff, but Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, Oscar, which was a slapstick movie, they just didn't work. Schwarzenegger could be funny. He was the total package.
Jingle
Now,
All the Way is fantastic. I
yeah,
love Jingle All
as
the Way.
far as intense personalities, I mean, Stallone is top notch. I mean, when you watch Rambo 4 or Cobra, nobody could be as intense as Stallone.
Yeah.
But pound for pound, I think Schwarzenegger was the greatest. But yeah, T2, as much as I love Aliens, as much as Aliens was successful, as great as it looks, as amazing as the cast is, including one of my favorite actors, Lance Henriksen, as the android in the film
Yes.
with the
Yes.
remember this part with the knife thing. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I hate watching that. I get anxiety. But still, Terminator 2, I think, is probably one of the greatest movies ever made. And I don't care if that's cliche to say because T2 is T2. That movie, I'll, that's my Halloween. I don't give a shit how many people love Terminator 2. to me, I will say it's one of the greatest movies ever. So I got to go T2 easily.
Yep. I'm excited to see what the people are saying about this one. Obviously, guys, we're pre-recording this, but hopefully you're sounding off as well and letting us know
Yeah.
what you're thinking, because that's a tough one. But I'm glad we both went T2. I thought we would. So
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on. This is where it gets semi-interesting because Terminator 3 obviously is a big step down in my opinion from everything is a step down from Terminator 2, but Terminator 3 came out. I remember I saw this in theaters. Terminator 3. I didn't hate it, but I was just like, "Damn it, man! This is not as good as T2." Even as a kid, and Alien 3, probably one of the most bipolar films in the community.
yes,
People either love it or they hate it. There's people who love how dark and moody and depressing and just harsh, how beautifully poetic Terminator 3, Alien 3 is. And there are people that say you just threw away everything done in Aliens. All this work and culmination that Aliens did, you're now just throwing all of that away into this abysmal state. And then Terminator 3, it's just simply not as good as Terminator 2. I don't think a lot of people appreciated what happened with John Connor as a character, him being dead. They didn't like the new characters. They just, in one sense, you had all. It's kind of the same with Terminator 3. You had all this work done to save humanity, and then in Terminator 3, you hear Arnold say, "Judgment Day is inevitable." Well, what the hell happened? What was the point of the previous movie? So I can understand the contention for both films. Um, but one of these films I am actually a big fan of. Uh, and I guess I'll just take it away. Uh, I'm gonna go Alien 3 on this one. I'm a pretty big Alien 3 fan. I hated it for a long time. I say for a long time. I hated it because of my love for Aliens. I was like, dude, this movie is like the complete antithesis to Aliens. It's slower. It's so depressing. It's so dark. It's just death. But now I really appreciate that, the ballsy state to watch that, and I like the long cut of the movie that gives all the exposition.
yes.
I don't hate Alien. I mean, I don't hate Terminator 3. I really don't. But I mean, Jesus Christ, how do you follow up the Black Album? I mean, you really don't. You know what I mean?
No.
So Alien 3 is going to be my pick on this one, or Alien the Third, because the little 3 is tiny at the end of it.
Alien cubed. Yeah.
Alien Cube. Alien Cube.
I So for me, this might be a surprising opinion for a lot of people. I don't dislike either movie. I've always heard the complaints about both movies. And again, like you said, Alien 3's vibe, I always liked. Like, whereas you go from Aliens, which is very action packed, pretty much, adrenaline rush from start to finish. Alien 3 is very slow. But I love the setting of Alien 3. I really, really do. It's just very barren. It's very it's depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I totally agree that, you feel like after watching Aliens, it's like, well, what the hell? Like you go from that to a complete tonal shift. But I respect that, because you're not going to follow up Aliens and not have a dip in quality. It's just not going to happen. So at least try something totally different. If it works, like, cool. If not, whatever. Kind of similar to Halloween 3 in the sense, it's a third movie that you don't want to follow what the last one did. You want to put your own stamp on it, and it has its fans now. But it's hard because I'm thinking about it and I'm like my thing about Terminator 3 is that I don't feel like there's anything super memorable about it. There's good action sequences. Arnold's great as well, but it seems more run of the mill sci-fi action movie than a movie like Alien 3 does. So this may surprise some people, but I'm also going to go Alien 3. I just think that Alien 3 had a lot more to say. And I think that Alien 3 I felt like there was more effort there to try to stand on its own and be something different. And love it or hate it, you can't walk away from Alien 3 and go, oh man, that was just contrived, regurgitated BS. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not. And I've always been a fan of it. And so I'm thinking about it in my head because I'm like thinking about the movies after this. I'm like, wow, one of these franchises is going to win like outright. And I already know which one it is. And I feel bad. But like I said, don't get me wrong. Terminator 3 was the first one I saw in theaters, by the way. So everybody knows. I do have fond memories of
Me
seeing
too.
Terminator 3. But yeah, it's
I remember there was like they were fighting outside of a bus or something, and there were some cool action sequences.
yeah,
If you
and that's what I said. It's got cool action piece like set pieces and whatnot, like for sure. But I just feel like if you're gonna get, you want to pick the movie, if you're just going based off of what movie has more character, what movie has more to say, what movie stands more on its own, is it Rise of the Machines, or is it Alien
yeah,
Cubed? And I think it's Alien Cubed.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. Wow, we're on the same page with everything.
Yeah.
All right, Nick,
I,
go ahead.
oh
Were you gonna say something?
no, you're good. You're good. I was
Set
just
the set the premise for the next one then. Go ahead.
four is salvation, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Terminator Salvation versus
Yep.
Alien
Resurrection.
Resurrection.
Okay, so guys, Terminator Salvation. This is a movie I saw in theaters.
Me too.
Alien Resurrection, I did not, but I caught it because my buddy had one of the old Blu-ray sets, like when it first came in out on Blu-ray in like the mid 2000s. It was Alien through Alien Resurrection, and we like binged all four over the span of 2 days. And man, Salvation, wow. Um, Look, I get I get points for creativity here, trying new things and whatnot. Uh, like I said, don't remember a lot of this movie because I saw it the one time in theaters. My buddy got it on DVD when it came out. We watched it again, and I just was not a fan. I'm still not a fan. I just feel like it just doesn't feel like it fits in the franchise for me. Like it just feels very tonally different. It's structurally different. There's not a lot of that connective tissue to the other movies, whether it be returning characters or plot lines that are almost somewhat retconned. It seems very out of place. And then Resurrection is similar in that way, with some kind of retconning and whatnot. And trying to relaunch the franchise, but not rebooting it in a sense. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but short answer, I'm gonna pick Alien Resurrection, but I will say, uh, I don't want to pick either one, and I don't hate either movie. I just feel like for their respective franchises, neither one holds up or even really feels like it belongs squarely in that franchise. I just really don't think either one is like, you ask an Alien fan, what's the one you're going to go to last? It's more than likely Resurrection. What I don't know what it is with movies and the subtitle Resurrection. And so everybody watch out for Matrix, okay? Um, and then Salvation is it's easily my least favorite Terminator movie. So yeah, they both have similar flaws though. Both have similar flaws with retconning and just feeling tonally out of place. But
Right.
I'm gonna go Resurrection.
Yeah, I saw Salvation in theaters as well. I was so hyped. This was, I guess, my senior year of high school or something, and I remember just being so excited to see another Terminator film because I remember in high school. I remember we first, my brother and me got Terminator 2 on Blu-ray, and we were just so excited. This was like the first time we were getting into Blu-ray too. Terminator 2 was the very first Blu-ray we ever bought. I still have it till this day. And I was so excited when I heard about the new Terminator. I'll tell you my gripe about Terminator Salvation. Is it the black sheep? It really is. My gripe that I can understand why people really have a problem with it is, uh, again, no John Connor is going to be the equivalent to that Edward Furlong, 12, 10-year-old kid. So good. But also, the film has a weird ending where they basically say, we're still fighting. So there was no resolve. And I think people were really like just bummed by that. I was actually upset that they actually even showed a Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film for a few seconds. I was like, let this be its own thing. Don't have Arnold in it whatsoever if we're going to do it. So my complaint with that film is actually that they cameoed Arnold for a second. I would have taken that out completely. I like I like Salvation. It could be just good feelings I have from that time in my life, seeing it in theaters and stuff. But it's certainly not. It's certainly. I don't know. I think I probably like Salvation more than 3, to be honest with you. Um, but on the other side of that coin, Alien Resurrection, I think is very energetic, and it doesn't take its. Well, I say it doesn't take itself seriously. I don't think it does. There's no way it does.
It doesn't. No.
I think there are some really funny moments in that film. I think it's action packed. I'm not a big Christian Bale fan in that movie for Alien Salvation. I don't know who else I would have casted in that film. Um, so at the end of the day, I'm gonna go Resurrection as well because Brad Dourif's in Resurrection. So
Yes.
it's always hard to vote against the great Brad Dourif. But I also think it's so funny that Sigourney Weaver was like, "I'm done, Alien 3, I'm done,"
Mhm.
and then they wrote her a healthy check for Resurrection and brought her back. And I have a soft spot for anything named Resurrection, so I'm going Alien Resurrection as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tell with Sigourney too. It's probably her most checked out performance, I think, in the series for sure. Not that she doesn't care, but you can definitely care. You can definitely tell she cares a little less.
Oh yeah,
It's just it was for the, it's like ironically Jamie Lee in Halloween Resurrection. It's like I'm here for the money. Just
yeah.
let's do this.
Expect like Sigourney was open about like I'm done. So the shame in returning, I guess, is probably like shit.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Okay, so we are completely in sync with this. Not planned whatsoever. So far, Alien has taken round 1, Terminator 2 has taken round 2, Alien 3 round 3, and Alien Resurrection round 4. All right, so we have 2 more movies. Up next, we've got Terminator Genesis, which I believe was 2013 or 14, probably 13,
Yeah, I think it was 13.
against Prometheus. Prometheus, when Ridley Scott came back to do these movies, I think people were shocked at what they saw. I don't think they were expecting to get, you know, what he gave us because these open world, massive, man, these movies are. Prometheus is a juggernaut of a film, and Genesis came out to a really bad reception. I mean, just it was piss poor reception, and it's quite
I
frankly
still like it better than Salvation, I think. I do think I like Genesis more. But
Genesis.
but
Uh, I have no problem just letting it rip. Um, I love Prometheus. I think Prometheus is fantastic. I love how when I was watching the film, I was like, okay, I don't know when the hell this movie takes place, how this movie takes place. It's fresh, it's new, it's beautiful. So I'm gonna give the edge to not even really the edge. I'm just gonna give this one an easy home run to Prometheus for me. I think it's a really beautiful film. I have a Blu-ray 3D of it too. I have a really cool release. Love it. I love Prometheus. If I ranked these films, Prometheus would come fairly high. So
I am going to echo everything you said. Genesis, like Salvation, to me it's not terrible, but I feel like it's pretty forgettable. Um, it doesn't stand out to me at all. More kind of run of the mill. Prometheus is ballsy. Prometheus is massive scale. Fassbender as David is fantastic. I love David. Um, I love the inclusion of the engineers and this entire origin story
yeah.
to all of this that I thought was so cool because you thought you were getting a lot of people really thought they were going to get an alien movie in the sense of xenomorphs running around everywhere, and you don't get a xenomorph until the very end of the movie and you see how it's like created, which I thought was really cool. That giant squid thing is
Oh
disgusting.
my god.
That
Which
thing is
yeah. Which would typically piss me off where you're like, oh, right at the very end. But dude, I'm sorry, like, yeah, it's just dude, it's a masterpiece. I think it's
yeah.
that good.
I saw it in IMAX with my two brothers, And I was blown away, man. I was blown away the entire time. I will never forget how I felt at the opening when you have one of the engineers standing on top of the waterfall and
Mm.
just like drinks that stuff and just starts to like dissolve into thin air. And I'm just like, what the hell is happening? Like, and I just think that it was super fresh and super original, and there's just some genuinely suspenseful moments, like when she is impregnated with that thing, and like they're chasing her. Like obviously, David has his own agenda there because he wants this to happen. She's trying to get into that freaking like surgery tank or whatever the hell it is to get that thing cut out, and then you get it cut out, and you're like, what the hell is that thing? Just a little squid flopping around
It's
that
gross.
eventually turns into like the damn Kraken at the end of the movie. And I love that I love the message of one of the messages of this movie is like, stop digging. Like it's like humans, man's own hubris and man's own ego of, I have to know everything I can know. I have to push the boundaries. I have to dig and dig and dig. And then eventually, when that engineer isn't dead and just starts killing everyone, it's like, maybe you should have just been okay with what you knew and like
Yeah.
not tried to dig too deep. I love the movie. I love the movie. It's one of my favorite alien movies. And I know it's not a popular opinion because I know this movie and the fan base is very divisive. It's and you know what? You can have your opinion about it. I'll have mine. I'm glad we agree on it. It is easily Prometheus in a landslide. I watch that movie like once a year. I mean, it's just fantastic. It's so damn good. It's so good.
Yeah, it does look. I was pulling up Wikipedia. The film cost about 120 million, 120,000, 120 million, which you can actually see all that money on screen, which is cool. But it made over 400 million. But the critical reception seems to be pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of critical praise. Um, I mean, the fact that it's called Prometheus and not Alien is kind of cool. Like, so it doesn't. If it was called Alien, but there was no aliens, that's one thing. But it's not called Alien,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. Prometheus is great, man. Yeah, I didn't see that in theaters probably because I didn't know what the hell it was at the time, or I just don't remember. I don't remember seeing, or I don't know what the hell I was doing in 2012. Quite frankly, I was in nursing school, so I wasn't doing anything. But yeah, goddamn, Prometheus is
And
Jesus
it was a
Christ.
movie that stood on its own so well that I felt like the very end with the birth of the xenomorph was like earned. So I wasn't watching the entire time like, where the hell is the xenomorph? No, I loved what I was getting. So then when you get the xenomorph at the very end, I was like, dude, that was the cherry on top. Like I was just like, yes. And there was a lot of fans that were like the opposite. They were pissed that they didn't get the xenomorph till the end, where I was like, I loved that story. I didn't even need a xenomorph. The fact that you gave me one at the very end, I was like, okay,
Cherry on top.
yeah, like so.
Mm.
We are in complete lockstep,
All right,
but I don't think we're going to be on this last one.
you want to set us up, Nick? We got
Yes,
Terminator Dark Fate versus Covenant, right? That's the name of
Terminator.
it.
Yes, Terminator Dark Fate. Linda Hamilton is back. Arnold is back in definitely a more prominent role than anything he had been in since Terminator 3. I would say in importance to the story for sure. Um, Let me tell you something. I watched Dark Fate for the first time a few days ago. I think it's the best Terminator movie since T2. And I don't think that's a stretch. I really do think it is. Linda Hamilton is a badass. I actually really like the new character of Grace. I thought what they did with Arnold's character, although different in some ways, was pretty cool. There's some badass hand-to-hand action in this movie. Like hand-to-hand combat in this movie is choreographed super well, shot well. The CGI there are issues with it, but it's not as bad as when I first saw the trailer and I was like, oh God, they definitely touched some of that up. And it feels tonally very similar to the Terminator and T2. It feels like it belongs in that universe. It was a really, really good movie. And it's a shame that it didn't do super well at the box office because you'll never, get a continuation of it, unfortunately. But I feel like part of the reason for that is Salvation and Genesis. You know, people were kind of burnt out because they didn't expect this to be any good. Maybe if those two didn't exist and you had just followed up, you know, Terminator 3 20 years later with Dark Fate, probably would have done really well. But regardless, Alien Covenant, Halloween 2018's writing star Danny McBride has a role in this movie.
That's right, he does. I
Yes,
forgot
and he's
about that.
great. He's great in the movie, by the way. I love Alien Covenant. I really do. I saw this movie in theaters and I thought it was badass. It's not as good as Prometheus because I felt like Ridley Scott took some of the criticism from some of the fans of Prometheus and I felt like gave us a little too much of your formulaic alien movie in this one. Um so it's not as good as Prometheus, but I really like Alien Covenant. So this is hard, man. This is hard because it is a very worthy follow up to Prometheus. You really get to start to see David's like sinister plan start to unfold. You find out that David like wiped out an entire colony of the engineers, you know, hundreds or thousands of years ago, which was dark as hell. Um, I love the R rating because you get some nice gore in there. I don't know where I'm going here. I really don't.
I can, if you want to take a second, I can.
You go ahead.
Yeah, I'll echo a lot of things you said. I do think that Terminator Dark Fate, I didn't see this in theaters, quite frankly, because I was really turned off by Genesis. Not so much Salvation, but Genesis, because Salvation, I was like, okay, this is its own thing. So, what have you? It doesn't. It's its own thing. New characters, with the exception of John Connor, really. But Genesis was like, okay, obviously people the general audience didn't want that direction, so let's go back to the Arnold direction. Terminator, he is the Terminator, and end of the day, can't have a movie without him. Whatever. Uh, Genesis did not have good reception at all, so I was really bummed out when I watched it, and so I didn't want to go see Dark Fate. I was like, I don't want to see it. And then, of course, when I hear people getting irate over the killing of John Connor in that film, I was like, oh my god. I mean, it really pissed people off. So I bought it on Blu-ray, and I was like, I'll watch it now. I didn't go to the theater to see it, and I thought it was pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. I like some of the characters, some of the decisions, like some of the choices are very polarizing with the characters. Consider, especially like Arnold, like you're talking about. Uh, I'm still not sure if I'm in love with some of those decisions or not. But overall, as a film, very entertaining. I thought the action sequences were way better than anything in Genesis, quite frankly. Uh, thought Sarah Connor was good. Linda Hamilton was good in it. Jim Cameron producing was the only way she would come back. But yeah, this movie did not make money. I mean, it's estimated that it had right under a $200 million budget, and then it says the box office was 260. So you got to put it when you factor in promotion, etc.
It probably
Nobody,
lost $100 million.
yeah,
Yeah, because the
this,
general rule of thumb is you have to make 2.5 times your budget. So
yeah. So Terminator's done. It's done, and it's really their own fault. They should have. I was actually saying beforehand. I was like, why have they just not remade it? For God's sakes, like that's probably just the way to go at this point because you're not. You, I appreciate. I really do appreciate consistency in storytelling, which you could argue maybe that's not really the case with the Terminator franchise with all the polarizing decisions that they've made. But regardless, it's chapter and verse in a sense. But I was actually the one saying, "Shit, just remake it, start fresh, do something else." But yeah, so that's probably the last Terminator film we'll see for quite some time. Covenant, on the other hand, I don't know, man. I don't hate it. But I'll take Prometheus over it. I don't really know what to say about Covenant. It's not a bad film by any stretch. I just find myself being a little bored by some of it. Um, I don't know. I honestly, I could go either way on this one, but because I think Terminator, uh, because I think it was much more beneficial for Terminator to be able to come up on the upswing in terms of quality as opposed to Alien. I'm gonna go Dark Fate on this. I don't. I don't hate the John Connor killing. I do think a little bit of it was strictly shock value for the story. Um, it kind of pisses me off. Taking that away from it, I'm still very much entertained by Dark Fate. I am. So I'm gonna go Dark Fate on this.
Yeah, I'm thinking it over, and I was leaning Covenant, and then my thing is I'm looking and I'm going, okay, kind of like what I talked about at the top of this with T2 and well, with the Terminator and T2. I feel like Covenant was preceded by Prometheus, which is a masterpiece in my mind, and
Yeah,
Covenant
agreed.
just wasn't. It's not bad, but it pales in comparison to Prometheus because it's just a lot of what we'd already seen before. Whereas Dark Fate was a massive step up from Genesis, I think. So
Yeah, arguably, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's got a much better reception. Genesis has a pretty abysmal reception.
yeah.
It's really not good at all.
I oh man. I'll go Dark Fate. I'll go Dark Fate as well, but it's a coin flip. It really is. It depends on my mood. I just think that I was a little bummed with Covenant when I saw it because of how great Prometheus was. Whereas with Dark Fate, I was pleasantly surprised. And maybe it's recency bias. I just watched Dark Fate a few days ago, so it's fresh in my mind. I haven't seen Covenant in probably 2 or 3 years. Um, but yeah, I'll go Dark Fate. If that's the way, I will say, if that's the way that Arnold's going to go out, though, I'm mixed on it. Because I thought he gave a great performance. I really do. But I think that with some of the decisions that they made for his character, and if there's people that haven't seen it, I'm not gonna say, but with some of the decisions they made with his character, it's like I almost would like, if you're gonna remake it, find a way to put him in there somehow. Because I feel like he does probably deserve a more conclusive send off, because Dark Fate was intended to have a sequel to it. There was no secret behind that when they were making it, is that they were trying to relaunch this franchise. Arnold obviously being out of politics now, he can be in these movies again and whatnot. So the idea was, and then you got obviously Linda Hamilton back. So they really thought, hey, if this movie does well, we can do another Terminator movie.
Right.
And usually movies will suffer from that a little bit, because if you can tell a movie is trying to set some things up a little bit and they never get that sequel, you can watch it and be like, it's a good movie, but I wish you wouldn't have left some of these threads, because if you don't get a sequel, it kind of feels, I don't know, it's a bummer. But I'll go Dark Fate. I'll go Dark Fate as well.
Dude, I don't know if I should be happy or bummed out that we agreed on every single entry on this. This is the first time.
Yeah, the only one that I think I was struggling with going into this was Dark Fate versus Covenant. And I when I was talking about that earlier, there was really only one. T2 and Aliens, there was a little struggle, but T2, I just knew in my heart it was going to be T2. But yeah, I'm surprised myself a little bit, because I really, coming into this, before I watched Dark Fate, I was like, I really like Alien Covenant. So there's no way I'm going to like this movie better than that. But I think it's just the movies that they were preceded by really affected my opinion in that. It's like, dude, Prometheus is fantastic. Like,
It's great.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's 4-2 Alien over Terminator. But here's the part of the show now
yes.
where we give the best and the worst of this, and I'll go first. It should be no surprise. Alien is a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest movies ever, and I know it's cliche, but I don't care. The absolute best of this, without question for me, is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The bottom of the barrel, though, for me, is going to be Terminator Genesis. So Terminator has the best in this for me, but it's also got the worst. So
I need to rewatch Genesis and Salvation. So, because I haven't seen Salvation in years. We're not going to agree here, but that's just like I said, because I need to rewatch those two to really know. But in my gut, my least favorite is Salvation, and my favorite is is T2 as well. I think that I just think T2 is head and shoulders the best film. I think when it comes from a filmmaking perspective, storytelling, acting, I think T2, and just impact, emotional impact. I think that T2 is the one. Um, you know, if I rewatch Genesis, maybe I'll go, okay, yeah, it's not it's not Salvation, it's Genesis. But for the sake of what I'm feeling going into this, I'm gonna say Salvation. But I will say I didn't like Genesis very much. So, you know,
Safe to assume that the second best of this for you for me, it would clearly
Alien.
be Alien.
Yep.
And number 3 for me would probably be Aliens.
Yep. And then the Terminator, I
Do
think.
you go let's be honest, do you go back and forth on Alien and Aliens sometimes? Because there are days where I really say to
Yes.
myself, "You know what? I don't care how popular Aliens is. You can't watch that film and not be like, 'Holy shit, this is amazing.'" I love
Yes.
Aliens so much.
I go back and forth a lot on that. And it's part of it is like I feel like with my roots of being a horror fan first, like it's like, oh well, you have to pick Alien, it's the horror movie. And then there's days where I'll just watch Aliens and I'll be like, but Aliens is fucking awesome. Like it's
Yeah.
so fun. Yes, I go back and forth with that one a lot. And I think those are the only two, like in the Terminator franchise, it's cut and dry. Like I never go back and forth in that franchise, which one is the best one. But depending on my mood, sometimes I'll be like, you know what, Aliens might, and then I'm like, no, it's Alien. Um, as of today, it's Alien, but
Me too. Yeah, I mean, if gun to the head, Alien, man, it's yeah, so good. I don't know, man. I think people might be shocked to hear about the Terminator 2 love from me and you. But look, man, that film, my brother raised me on T2. I mean, he made me such a he was like, "Christian, this is the best movie ever, Terminator 2." We used to play it on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, the arcades where you got the Terminator 2 Judgment Day arcade game where you had like the gun and you would just gun them
Yep.
down at the
Mm-hmm.
pizza places and stuff. Greatest movie ever, dude. Terminator 2 is the best. Uh, I don't want to give away the entire ranking in case you ever decide to do this on your channel, but I mean, Prometheus, is it number 3?
An Alien,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
up
I don't,
there, huh?
yeah, I don't even have to think about that one. I think it's Prometheus, and then it's probably the only question there is 3 or Covenant in the next spot, really. But yeah,
Yeah.
Prometheus would be 3. And there'd be days where I might even be like, dude, it's Prometheus 2.
Prometheus is number 2.
Yeah, like, is it
Dude,
2?
it's such a good film. It's amazing. So wrapping this up, this has been a juggernaut of an episode. I didn't want to do this live because first of all, like I really needed to concentrate and just hone in on thinking about this because it's tough, man. But um
And a lot of
obvious
people are going to want to talk about it too. And we don't want to get bogged down, like, because you guys chatting about this stuff is awesome. Like that's what this is. We want to hear your opinions, but at the same time, we could go 3 hours if we addressed
yeah.
everything that was said. So
And I don't want nobody changing my mind.
yeah,
I would be lying if I would say that the chat doesn't like oh shit. With the Freddy ones, I was like, oh my
yeah.
god, like I better pick Freddy because like I'm gonna seem like a. But obviously, this has become a very successful thing for this show. We're not gonna keep doing this permanently, just like every time. I think we can do one more for another episode, and then we take a break and start talking about some other stuff. But always, we're not gonna get rid of this. So if we were going to do another one, and we don't have to necessarily do it next, we can go back to doing a topic, talking about stuff. I want to get back to talking about history and stuff with us. Like I know that the Spirit Halloween episode was well received, and everybody loved hearing your story. So maybe we can go back to doing some kind of a linear storytelling episode next. But if we were going to do one more and then take a break, it would have to be a big deal, as big of a deal as this. What do you think?
How
People
many
have
how many
been begging.
how many
Go ahead.
Rambo films are there?
Okay, so there are 5 Rambo films.
Uh, you could do Rocky versus Rambo. I mean, That's an idea right there. If you don't include the two Creed movies, I mean, you do have Rocky Balboa, which would be 6,
6.
but Rambo and Rocky would be cool. I think Die Hard and Jurassic Park would be cool because they both have 5. Um, there's a lot because when it comes to horror franchises, I feel like a lot of these franchises have odd number movies at this point where it's like you would want to cover one, but you couldn't find a franchise that has as many movies. And if we're talking big deal, you want to take some of these name brand franchises, and obviously, Rocky and Rambo, that's big. Predator,
Predator was crossing my
yeah,
mind. People have been begging for Chucky. I know that
I
too.
know, and it's like there's shit. What are there? There's 7 movies there.
And we've knocked out. That's the problem, is we've knocked
Yeah.
out a lot. And people were like, "Well, do Chucky versus Puppet Master." I was like, "I mean, you could, but I mean, the Puppet Masters fall hard after 5.
Oh
But
yeah.
then again, so do the. Well, I say the Chuckies do. They don't really. I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to. And people were saying, do Scream versus Evil Dead.
I feel like Evil Dead's gonna win that battle.
I mean, the only one that would probably win for me with
Scream.
Scream would be the first one.
Yeah.
Because Evil Dead fucking 2, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece.
Yep.
Army of Darkness is my favorite. And then the remake of Evil Dead, are you joking?
One of the
Against
best.
Scream
Yeah.
4?
Yeah.
One of them's a movie and one of them is I
A
digress.
cinematic triumph.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Maybe guys, we have a few that we're kind of obviously pondering and throwing around, but let us know in the chat, in the comments, like let us know, give us some ideas, and if there's one that Christian sees that he's just like, I got to do it. I mean, just like in the last episode, as soon as he mentioned this, you saw his reaction. He was like, "Holy shit,
It's
this is the one."
perfect. Match made in heaven.
So
I
if you
do
guys
know
have ideas,
Yeah, I do know that I'm going to reach out to Piz. We've got a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming out. We definitely need to do. I guess I'd call it the Road to Texas, where we do the first time watch, first memory, part 1, part 2, part 3, like we did for Halloween. We did that for Friday with the Chris Lake memories that we did with Piz.
yeah,
I think people would love to see that. And what the hell, Piz? He's just the right guy to bring back for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So
yeah,
we'll probably make that happen. But I'll think maybe this is the right episode to end off on for just a little while on the franchise face-offs, because I don't know how much bigger you can get than this. But then again, if somebody tells me, well, look, we knocked out Halloween, we used Friday the 13th, we used Leatherface, we used Freddy. What other we used Saw and Paranormal Activity. What other big horror franchises? Chucky is obviously one. People are right. Chucky needs to be done. What the hell else do you put against? What do you put against Chucky? The Hellraiser films? I mean, I guess you could, but I'd have to rewatch all those terrible movies. I say they're terrible. Some of them are actually kind of funny,
yeah.
bad. Like I've seen all the Hellraisers. I've seen 1, 2, 3. Those are all I'll say this: Hellraiser 1 through 3 versus Child's Play 1 through 3 would be daunting, because those are all badass, great movies. After that, it would start to probably sway a little. I don't know, dude. I hate Seed of Chucky so much.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like it either.
I don't know. That'd be tough. I mean, I'd have to find the time to set aside to rewatch all those Hellraisers, which would be not easy.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, guys, let us know. Let
yeah,
us
just
know.
let us know. We'll plan it out. We'll figure it out. But if this is the last franchise face off for just a little while, and we'll kick it back up sometime next year, this has been. I'm so glad that you guys took to this and enjoyed it so much. I always try to come up with show ideas that will keep you watching. I don't want you to watch something where it's like an hour and a half of a review of a movie and you're like, okay, well, I can tell they like it. Let's move on. I want you guys to hear something that will help get the purpose of this show, not only to have a great conversation with Nick, is to get you guys an hour through the day and relax and help the time go by. So I'm hoping that's what this show does for you. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it was good, and I cannot wait to see the reception and the conversation from
yeah,
people because these were juggernauts. So
Mhm. So, all right, this was awesome. We got stuff to do. We've got to wrap this up. Thank you, guys. Nick, any last words for the people?
No, no. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys are, enjoying the holiday season. Um, and yeah, I'm curious as to what we'll do next week. Obviously, we're going to talk about it, but if you guys even want to see something Christmas related, that's obviously something Christian and I have talked about, whether it be a a casual commentary of a Christmas movie, whether it be, who knows. But, again, just the top, just let us know. Let us know what you guys are feeling and how you're thinking. But I hope you're all doing well. And thanks for watching this. And I'm sure it wasn't controversial at all.
maybe not. Who knows? I really don't know. We're gonna find out. I know
Yeah.
that much. So, all right, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week on the Uneeda Horror Podcast. This has been a production of the Uneeda Horror Podcast. You need it, we got it. Thank you for listening.